There was a time when Rome ruled the world. Its armies were feared. Its rulers were worshipped. Its power stretched across continents. People believed it would last forever. But deep inside this giant, a slow sickness was growing. A sickness that came from pride, greed, corruption, and fear. This is the true story of how the strongest empire the world has ever seen did not fall in one day. It fell slowly, quietly, from the inside, long before any enemy touched its gates. Welcome to Cammy the Storyteller. This is the story of the fall of the Roman Empire, the rise, the glory, and the slow death of a giant. There was once a nation that believed it would live forever. A nation so powerful that kings feared it, armies ran from it, and the world looked to it for strength. This nation was Rome. Rome did not begin with greatness. It began with struggle. It began with tribes fighting for land, for food, for survival. According to old legends, Rome was born from two brothers, Romulus and Remus, raised by a wild animal, trained by hardship, and shaped by destiny. From a small settlement by the Tiber River, Rome grew into a kingdom, then a republic, and then an empire. At its peak, Rome controlled lands from the desert of Egypt to the cold forests of Britain. Its roads were the best in the world. Its laws were strong. Its armies were unmatched. Its leaders were feared. Its citizens believed the empire would never fall. But every giant has weaknesses, and Rome had many. This story is not only about the fall. It is about how slow cracks became deep wounds, how pride became blindness, and how the strongest empire in the world broke from the inside long before enemies touched its gates. The Golden Age before the fall. Rome began to change during the time of Julius Caesar. Ambition grew. Power became sweeter than duty. Leaders began to fight among themselves. After Caesar's death, Rome entered a long period of conflict. When it finally ended, Augustus became the first emperor. Under him, Rome entered a time called the Peace of Rome. Roads were safe. Trade was strong. The army was united. But peace makes people forget danger. And slowly, Rome became too comfortable. As the years passed, emperors became greedy. Many wanted pleasure instead of service. Some brought beauty to Rome. Others destroyed everything they touched. Rome became a place of luxury, entertainment, and political games. While Rome enjoyed comfort, its problems grew quietly in the shadows. The first cracks, money and corruption. Rome became too big to manage. The government wasted money on grand buildings, massive feasts, and endless entertainment. Taxes increased. Poor people suffered. Trade weakened. And the empire became dependent on foreign goods. As money problems grew, corruption grew with it. Leaders used their positions to enrich themselves. Soldiers demanded more pay. Officials stole from the government. Rome's economy became weak, like a mighty tree eaten from the inside by termites. The people could not see the fall yet, but the roots were already breaking. The second crack, a divided empire. In time, the empire became too large for one ruler. So Emperor Diocletian did something new. He divided the empire into two parts, the Western Empire and the Eastern Empire. The Eastern Empire became strong and wealthy. Its capital was Constantinople. The Western Empire, with Rome as its heart, began to struggle. It had fewer resources. Its leaders were weaker, and its enemies were growing stronger. This division was meant to save Rome. Instead, it made the empire easier to attack. The third crack, a weak and unstable leadership. For many years, Rome had wise emperors. But later, emperors came and went like passing shadows. Some ruled for only months. Some were controlled by generals. Some were puppets of powerful families. Without strong leadership, the empire became unstable. Army leaders fought for power. Politicians betrayed one another. Decisions were made to satisfy personal greed, not to protect the nation. Rome was still huge, but inside, its heart was shaking. The fourth crack, the barbarians at the gates. Outside Rome lived many tribes. Rome called them barbarians because they were not Roman. Some lived near forests. Some lived near rivers. Some were peaceful. Others were fierce. Rome began using these tribes as soldiers because its own army was weakening. These foreign soldiers did not always feel loyalty to Rome. Some fought well. Some rebelled. Some waited for the perfect moment to strike. Then something happened that changed everything. A powerful tribe called the Huns began attacking other tribes in the east. These frightened tribes ran toward Rome's borders for safety. Rome could not stop all of them. Some entered peacefully. Others entered by force. Soon, the empire was surrounded. The Visigoths entered Rome's lands. They asked for protection. Rome treated them badly. Hunger and anger grew among them. One day, they rose in rebellion. They defeated a Roman army. They killed a Roman emperor. It was one of the worst defeats in Roman history. The world began to see that Rome was not invincible. The fifth crack, the fall begins. Years later, the Visigoths, led by a fierce leader named Alaric, marched toward Rome itself. For centuries, no enemy had entered the ancient city. But Rome was not the giant it used to be. Its army was weak. Its leaders were divided. Its people were afraid. In the year 410, Alaric and his warriors broke into Rome. For 3 days, they took what they wanted. They burned some parts of the city. They sent shock through the entire world. The city that once ruled nations was now powerless. Rome survived this attack, but the wound was deep. The empire would never be the same again. The final blow. More tribes entered the empire. Some settled. Others destroyed. The Vandals came and struck the city again. The empire lost land after land. The army collapsed. Trade died. Cities became empty. Schools closed. Knowledge faded. At last, in the year 476, the final Roman emperor in the West, a young boy, was removed from the throne. He had no power. He had no army. He had no nation left to rule. This moment is known as the fall of the Western Roman Empire. The Eastern Empire survived for many more years. But the Rome that once ruled the world was gone. The lesson behind the fall. Rome did not fall in one day. It fell slowly. It fell step by step. It fell from pride, from greed, from division, from weak leadership, from corruption, and from ignoring problems until they became too big to solve. The empire that once seemed eternal became a warning to all great nations. Power without discipline collapses. Comfort without caution destroys. Pride without wisdom blinds. Rome rose through strength. Rome fell through weakness. And history remembers both sides of the story.